Good afternoon, everyone. And if you're wondering, does she have like a picture of Mexico behind her? That's actually one of our incredible world-class surf beaches here in Nova Scotia. And if you've never heard of Nova Scotia, we're a small province on the east coast of Canada, just a couple hours away from kind of Maine, New Hampshire, that whole area. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Nova Scotia, but more importantly, what our digital service does. Next slide, please. And here's our mission. We make life easier for Nova Scotians. We're delivering great service and making lives easier by ensuring every person living and working in our province gets what they need from their government when they need it in an accessible way. And we do that in a really unique way because we're a very unique digital service. Next slide. It's so great that people have talked so much about the variety of types of digital services today at the state level, the federal level, and the municipal level. We're kind of in the middle of all that in Nova Scotia. And we're actually a very unique jurisdiction in the world, which is really cool from a digital service perspective. Because in 2019, the government brought together the shared services for all provinces. So they brought together every single department's IT groups. So that's IT from health and education and justice, and put them in a shared service group. And then they brought together the digital service group, who were that startup style doing product management and service design, and put those organizations together. So actually, we're one of the few departments in the world that actually controls all digital and technology for a jurisdiction. So we're a really cool spot. And actually, I moved from another province to come do this work in Nova Scotia just last year, because this is such an interesting model to deliver results for people. So we have really big ambitions to actually shift government processes, which is really cool. You know, we have all the kind of control over tech, so we can really look at the policy and the governance and the strategy that might help make full systemic shifts for people, and really kind of break down some of those barriers in government that stand in the way of better delivery. And we also touch every essential facet of life. This is the nice thing about being a small jurisdiction. Nova Scotia is only about 1 million people. So we're really looking at kind of almost a municipal size, if you consider the states, but then this really big jurisdiction of healthcare, education, roads, and the environment, really like huge areas that we touch. So we were the first to respond during COVID on everything. In September, many of you might have heard about Hurricane Fiona. We stood up benefits out to people from Hurricane Fiona within 3 days. So we really touch every facet of life for Nova Scotians, and it's really just a beautiful way for us to give back to communities. As you see about our lobster, Alpha Beta Live Lobster, what that's all about is that once a product's live, you can't stop taking care of it. So you have to take care of it like you would a pet in your house, or like the Nova Scotian lobster, one of our very famous exports. Next slide, please, Mikhail. So what are we hiring for? Pretty much everything. We've got a ton of jobs. So we're 750 people. We only see ourselves growing in the next little while. And we do have people who do everything from install computers in every hospital in the province to doing service design. So on this list here, you're going to see some roles that we have available right now or are hiring for in the next few months. And then on the bottom there, I've listed some of the skills we're looking for, because some, you might not fit perfectly into one of these roles, but we're interested in hearing from you if you've got these skills. You know about policy innovation, org change, systems transformation, design, user research, you're, skilled in agile methodologies, but we do have those more defined roles. We also have a significant amount of leadership opportunities coming available. So if you're a bit more advanced in your career and you're thinking this is the time to take on leadership, we'd love to hear from you. We have some really, really interesting roles there. And just personally, my team is hiring in the policy strategy and governance areas in the next few months too. So if you're interested in that, we can chat a little more specifically. I'll talk in the next slide a little bit about what is Nova Scotia. So again, I know most people haven't heard of us, but if you see on that map there, we are that little peninsula right on the east coast of Canada. And we're small communities. So there's actually only 2 main cities in Nova Scotia. Everything else is smaller communities. And we have a lot of very thriving small communities with big heart in this province. It is a very small province. It takes only a couple hours to drive across it, which is awesome. You get to see the most beautiful place. There's thousands of Canadians actually moved to Nova Scotia during COVID for a better quality of life. The East Coast is known for this incredibly welcoming, warm culture and a slower pace of life that people like. as well as the ocean. We're Canada's ocean playground. Wherever you are in the province, you're never more than a 20-minute drive from the ocean, which I will tell you, as someone who came from Ottawa in the center of Canada to the East Coast just last year, very good for the soul. We're a growing Canadian tech hub. Lots of international businesses actually are setting up in Canada. We have huge IBM offices, Microsoft offices, and others. It's a $2.5 billion industry. And lastly, we're a big post-secondary destination. We have 10 post-secondary institutions in this small province. 6 of them are in our main city of Halifax. So it's a really vibrant student kind of and learning destination where you can take part in an innovation economy. And in our breakout room, you'll see myself, Sue Totman from the Nova Scotia Digital Service, and we will have 2 folks from the recruitment side who are really willing to talk about like all the HR stuff, immigration requirements, all that stuff. So come see us in our breakout room, and I'll talk to you about what it's like to live by the ocean.